Hey team, Coach Falk here, bringing to you Warrior Talk number 5. In Warrior Talk number 5, we're going to start discussing some special offensive situations. Today, we're going to focus on formations that involve the Y and the offensive line. We're going to go through 3 formations. I'll come back at you later in the week with 5.1 with some more special formations. 5.2, start discussing some special routes, and then wrap it up with 5.3 to finish the routes. With that, let's dive right in. So, today in Warrior Talk 5.0, special offensive situations, I want to discuss 3 special formations or changes to our base formations. Those are going to be Y off, Y wide, and GT. So, for all of these, we're going to use our base formation, gold right. And for the first one, it would read gold right, Y off. So what's that going to look like? Well, typically we line up guard, center, guard, and the strength is to the right. The Y is going to be right here. We call this on the ball, on the line of scrimmage. If I call Y off, instead of the Y lining up on the line of scrimmage, I want him to be connected on the ball, but off the line of scrimmage. So he is back about 1 yard off the line of scrimmage. Why would we do that? Why would we line him up like that? Well, this frees him up to motion. So we can motion him across the formation to run a route from the left or to serve as the ball carrier, or we can motion him out to the right to get a different look. So that's Y off. Next, let's go gold right, Y wide. So again, base formation, guard, center, guard. Y typically is going to line up right there on the ball. Well, in Y wide, I want him to line up with about 3 yards separation between himself and the guards. Why would we do that? Well, that's going to change the defensive look that we get. When he's lined up tight right here, they're typically going to defend that with an end. Let me get my pen back. End, a nose, and an end. That means the Y is covered up by the end. And typically there's going to be a cornerback out here to either the boundary or the field, whichever side we're on. Now, this means that if we have a, let's say we're in gold, there's no other receivers on the right side of the field because the X and the Z are to the left. Well, the Y now has to get past this end and get past the cornerback if he's going to run a 1. Or if I'm coming across the field in, say, a jet sweep, there is nobody blocking that cornerback. So, in order to mitigate the effects of that lineup, what we're going to do is we're going to take this Y, we're going to line him up wide, 3 yards off the ball. And what does this do to the defenders? Well, now the end is going to be here and the cornerback is going to be here. So let's go back to the example I was just using. Say we're going to run a jet sweep, and this is in our playbook. Z comes across, ball's snapped, the guard comes around and gets the end, the Y gets the cornerback. He takes the ball and can now get through that gap. So that's the reason we would line up in Y wide. Finally, the last formation that we had, um, or that I said we're going to discuss today, is going to be GT. And we'll go back to our base, hold right, GT. Well, this means instead of being in a standard formation like this, we are actually going to line up with center and then guard pull. So the left guard, instead of being on the right side of the formation here, he's going to be right here. Why would we do that? Well, that's going to create a defensive mismatch. We're going to have end, nose, end properly. And if we take the receiver off of the line of scrimmage, the center is uncovered. That makes him an eligible receiver. So he can go out, he can run a route. It just creates a defensive mismatch that we might look to exploit later in the year. We don't have anything in the formation yet with GT in it, or in the playbook with GT in it, but we could call it later in the year. And once again, we could go left or right. If we went left, it would be center, guard, tackle. On the right, it's center, guard, tackle. It just means we don't have a guard on the left side here or on the right side there. And that's it, guys. 3 ways that we can change our formations up. Ask questions, keep learning, and as I say, let's get better every single day.